Hi, and
Cool.
we're back. So sorry about that to anybody who was watching. We did lose the broadcast there for a few minutes. So I'll hand straight back to Rupert now. Thanks, Rupert.
Okay, thanks very much, Alison. So, apologies for the technical hitch. I'm going to rewind what I did a little bit. So, again, apologies if you've seen some of this before. Last thing I think we got on tape was Alist Apart, which is one of my go-to resources, particularly for style sheets, CSS advice. And I pretty much learned all of my mobile support responsive design from this website. But some of the other example I was giving you was Google Analytics, which I think probably everybody has heard of just now. But this is a little JavaScript snippet that you can put on your site. And it gives you this fantastic insight into how users are actually working with your pages. So it's not just a hit count. It will tell you which pages people are going to, which are the most popular, how long people are spending on each page, what countries they're coming from, probably what their default language is, and even the stats on their computer, so they can find out if they're using Explorer or Firefox or Chrome. All this kind of information, which might require you to kind of code your pages in different ways. If you're really going the whole hog, one fantastic thing you can do is set up goals. So you'd have something that you would say would be your conversion, and it might be somebody signing up, it could be to a newsletter or interacting with your light bulb comparison page. And so you can kind of create this goal, see how effective it is, and try little experiments even while the page is live to see what new layouts can help drive traffic through your site. So this is a terrific tool. You can dig very deep with it, and I would certainly encourage you to get the code on your website and start looking at some of that information. So related to that a little bit, we also have something called Google Webmaster tools. So this isn't specifically how to write code. This gives you some insight into how the Googlebot actually indexes your pages. And so if there's an issue with how we interpret what you want, if you want to make sure you're kind of being represented properly on the search engines, this will tell you if you've maybe got some broken links on your pages, tell you where most of your incoming traffic is coming from. It's a terrific resource. Again, there's a lot of information. You get a dashboard for any of the web pages you sign up to with this. And again, this is terrific that post-launch you can see how people are interacting with your content, and you can tweak it in response to that. So the key is launching the website is just part one. What you have to do is keep tweaking it and make sure you deliver what people are wanting to use. One thing, we had some teething problems with the demos from this. This is another third-party resource which allows you to create it's user testing. The best kind of user testing is just, to be honest, getting some friends over, make them a cup of tea, sit them down in front of your computer, and then watching how they interact with your site. But this is if you don't have any friends, this is a great second approach. And so sorry, I'm already signed into this thing. So what you can do is you can put screen grabs of your website up there, and then you can ask questions. For example, if you wanted to compare an LED with a incandescent light bulb, what button would you click on the page? And it's also a great way to get some insight from other people's tests on here. So this is a standard test they offer, the click test. I'm going to take this myself. Click the button that best represents what you would prefer to do. Start test. Looking for a great way to connect your friends. So send a song to a
Share your screen there, Rupert, so we can see what you're doing.
Oh, you're joking. Sorry, have I not?
That's all right.
I apologize.
I know you off with the technical issues.
Okay. I'm going to backtrack a little bit because you'll missed a few of these. I was talking about the Alist Apart site. This one here. Again, links will be forthcoming. Google Analytics. Nice little animated stuff in here. You can kind of see this phenomenal dashboard stuff, and the product itself is amazing. And this was what the Google Webmaster pages look like. And I think you can probably see some of my dashboard here. I've got a few pages I look after. And so here's an Indian dance site that I maintain, believe it or not. It gives me an idea of where the traffic's coming from and so forth, what people are searching for, how they get to the website. So some good resources there. The click test, this was back to this page. Somebody else has posted this from their own website. Do I want to send a song or request a song? Well, I'm probably going to send a song, so that would be my preferred option. Done. So I've just helped somebody learn a little bit about their website. If I do another, and I've learned a little bit from maybe sometimes somebody else's mistakes about good approaches to do this. On your mobile device, you just typed in 2 domain names to see if they're available. How would you hide the keyboard? Oh, it's a very good question. Here, I suppose. So there we go. So even big companies will use this to test, I mean, well, not just the websites, but their mobile apps as well. So I think we're probably going to have to rush this next bit a little bit, but I was going to demonstrate a very, very, very quick, it was going to be a 10-minute website. It's now going to have to be a 5-minute website. So let me see if we can just race through this. As I mentioned before, Twitter Bootstrap is probably my favorite one of these frameworks that I use just externally for some of my own websites just at home. And so if you remember, it was this website here. First thing you'll do is download. And so here's one I previously downloaded. If I unzip this, it basically gives you a series of resources of some CSS files. There's a few icons for some mobile device icons, and there's a bit of JavaScript. And this can also bring in jQuery, can come in as part of the Bootstrap framework. Right, I'm going to drag this to my desktop, and I'll show you very, very easily just how insanely quickly you can build a website. So I'm shameless in my borrowing, so I'm going to go straight to the examples that they already give. This is one of my favorite layouts. This is one of these nice, it's kind of a classic 3-column grid with this hero element at the top. All the mobile navigation is built in there. You can see this navigation at the top sort of drops into this nice little drop down there, so you can use this on your smartphone. And I said I was shameless, so I'm just going to go straight into the source code, copy it wholesale, and then go straight to my text editor. I personally use TextMate. There are many other good text editors out there, but we tend to avoid the ones that tend to be too elaborate. There's just something nice about something straightforward that basically just does some syntax highlighting, and you get something that's just easy to get your head around. So I've just created my website. I'm going to load this up in the browser. That's file 1 here, and it's broken already. Why is that? Well, for some unknown reason, the code that comes by default from Twitter Bootstrap suggests it's already a few levels up. So what I have to do is just make a slight tweak to these assets folders. I'm going to search for this and just delete it all the way through. And then if I save this now, it should bring in the CSS properly. So that's exactly the same page we're looking at a second ago. I'll prove it by changing Hello World. This is going to be Hello Sunny Zurich. And if I reload, there we go. So I've got a fairly nice looking website. Yep. I'm going to tidy it up a little bit. There's some JavaScript that I'm not going to use on this web page, so I don't need this section. And there's quite a large navigation menu at the top, which again I'm not going to use for this example. So it's pretty straightforward just to remove that, and then it's gone. So we have something really straightforward, really, really simply. And it really is just, you know, minutes. So I'm just going to block this out a little more quickly. We've got these columns in here. I'm going to delete one. It's built on this 12-column grid. You change the number of columns any given, or the number of grid slots any column takes up. I've changed a span 4 there and a span 8. Maybe zoom in a little bit. And then you'll see that we've got this new column that's taken up double the width back there, and it linearizes when you get to a mobile size. And so these are great for dropping some new content in, and again, how easy it is to do this just because, you know, the code can be written for you. So I had something I quite liked earlier. There was a Zurich YouTube video. So all the sights and sounds, I'm going to click share and embed, and I can just grab the code straight away from that and then put it inside my first column. So instead of heading blah, 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 I'm going to add the default code in there. And if I load that page again, now you'll see a YouTube video in there. and it will play straight away. It does bring in some slightly weird code with it, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to change it to something a little different with CSS in here. Just so it fits the column properly, I'm going to set it to 100% width, and I'm going to give it a height of, I think I was playing around with this earlier, and 320 pixels seemed to work quite nicely. So if I load that page again, we've got it nicely into that single column. But it looks a little bit funny. It's a bit too narrow now, so I'm going to change with a grid I had before. So instead of 4 and 8, I'm going to do 6 and 6 and just make a nice split right down the middle, and that's starting to look decent. And then just as a final thing, I'm going to, well, 2 more things I'll add to this page. This is something I've created just myself using Maps, Google Maps. I've created just my favorite coffee places and good places to take photographs in Zurich. And again, I can share this with other people. There's some links that I can just drag directly out of here. In this case, I'm going to take the HTML one, drop it into the second column, and there's a little bit of extra code it adds, which it's like a link to the map thing. I'm going to avoid that. I don't particularly feel the need to have that. I'm going to do this thing as well with give it a style width 100%, and I'm going to match the height of the other column just to make it nice and consistent. That's going to be 320 pixels as well. And if I go back to my page, it's starting to look like a proper website. And very little coding I had to do. It was just copy and paste. And then again, this mobile stuff is built in from the beginning. I mean, that's looking half decent. I wouldn't be embarrassed if people saw this online already. One final thing I'll just show you, just because again, this is so simple. We do something called web fonts. Everybody has this strange favorite web font called Lobster, but if you don't want Times or Verdana or Arial or something like that, you can use something like this. Online again, free to use, quick use. It already generates the code for you. There's one line you put in the head of your page. So I'm going to just drop that up above my style sheet. So that loads in the actual font itself, but then I also need to add the rule to the code itself. So I'm going to add it to the H1, which is at the top of the page. I'm calling it Lobster. I think what I might also do is bump the font size up a bit, because it deserves to be seen big. And so again, if we go back to the page, then you see we have this different look. Now that's not a standard font that comes with your operating system. That's something we had to incorporate from this online thing, but it's so simple. That was the kind of thing that used to be so complicated before. We've got a working video. We've got an interactive map that you can edit via Google Maps. You don't have to edit this web page for this map element to get it updated. You can get directions if need be. Kind of integrates properly with the real thing. And we've got a brand new font that in the old days you'd probably have to make a graphic for, but now we can just do it very straightforwardly with this. And the best bit of all, the support for mobile comes for free. Everything rescales down nicely for tablets or smartphones. That's the kind of thing that used to take ages to get right, and now it's done for you in a 5-minute website, courtesy of Twitter Bootstrap. So I think that's the end of the coding demo. That went far smoother than I possibly could have hoped for. So probably a good time to open this up to questions.
Hi, I'm Ibrahim, and I actually have a question. I was quite intrigued by your confession at the beginning that you started with a biology degree before switching to web design. I was wondering if you could share some pitfalls that you used to make when you started learning web design, and if you could share also perhaps some tips that you wish you would have found out at the beginning of your learning of web design.
Sure, it's a very good question. I think around the same time I was learning to snowboard, and I tried to teach myself to snowboard, and I got the basics right, but I did pick up a lot of bad habits, and then I had to take a lesson at a later date to kind of fix the problems I had with turning. And I look back now at some of my old code, and it was pretty rough around the edges. I learned a lot when I started to validate my pages. And the World Wide Web Consortium, if you just search for HTML validator, there's a great tool that you can use to actually just paste your code into, and it will tell you if there's things wrong with it. And so it's very simple to write HTML because it is just a text file, but to write it properly in a way that's robust across all the browsers, that takes a little bit more doing. But there's fantastic tools that are out there that will help you with that. I would probably say one part, validating your code and learning about how it works. And the second part, just compare notes. If you've got friends that are doing stuff, they're going to be, going for some similar approaches as yourself, but they'll maybe come at it from a completely different angle. And it's always intriguing to see the different philosophies different people bring to it. And if you get somebody who knows a bit more about cascading style sheets, you can learn from them, and then maybe you can swap some advice on JavaScript. So get talking to colleagues or friends, or even just forums, communities online. There's great places to post questions or ask for help, or show off your design as well.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Great.
I have another.
Oh. So thanks very much, Rupert. I've posted on the G+ Google in Education page the list of links of everything that you've showed us during the session, so everybody should be able to access that. But thanks very much for also dealing with the technical hitches today. I know this was your first Hangout, and you're remarkably calm under pressure, so thanks very much. And thanks very much to our audience down there, both on the Hangout and on the broadcast. Just so you know, this broadcast has been recorded, and it will be available on Google, on youtube.com/edu@Google straight after this broadcast. Okay, thanks very much, and we'll see you all next time.